There's the seven tablets of creation. You guys, this is something awesome. The Enuma Elish, the seven tablets of creation. One of the most awesome stories ever spoken about. You'll never hear of a story like this. But let's start. When in the height of heaven was not named. Nothing was known. That's all you see is the height of heaven. And the earth beneath did not yet bear name. There was nothing but destitute and a fiery surface upon the earth. What a time this was. And the primeval Espu, who created the whole earth, was at work in his Brahma form, with all of his arms in the blaze, creating the earth. And Chaos Tiamat, the mother of them both, was in the process of creating and causing all kinds of chaos in her creation. And yes, the waters were mingled together. All of the waters mingled together. And no field was formed. No marsh was to be seen. Total darkness. Darkness. One of the gods, none had been called into being. It was just total chaos. And none bore name, and there was no destinies were ordained. And there was Tiamat working to create the gods in the midst of heaven. In her legendary form, she excelled. Then were created the gods in the midst of heaven. Lamu and Lahemu were called into being. Ages increased. And yes, did it increase. As you can see, the beginning of an age, and time went past. And yes, then Enshar and Kishar were created. And glorious they were, holding their celestial tools in their hand. Long were the days that came forth. Long were the days. Anu and their sons were created. Enshar and Anu. Yes. And their cosmic glory. There they stood, beautiful in robes. Nadumad, whom his father had made him. Abounding in wisdom. Yes, Anu, looking like a lion and fierce. Abounding in wisdom and fierce they were. And exceedingly strong. In wisdom was the world created. With the wisdom of Espu, the world came into being, and the gods were formed. Strong, yes, strong was Espu. and powerful. And there he stood, fierce and powerful, with lightning embalming his whole body. And yes, the throne in the order was created. Full of wisdom, and the gods all surrounded the table. Tiamat and Espu were put in confusion as time went by. Abiding in wisdom caused this confusion, and there was problems, and there was trouble and disorder. And this disorder caused nothing but problems. And Tiamat warred. And Espu was not diminished in might. And yes, Tiamat in her dragon form. And then came forth Espu, powerful and not diminished in might, and strong. And then warred Tiamat in her dragon form. And Tiamat took note of what the gods were doing. She saw that their actions were not pleasant. And they reviewed the actions of the gods and took note of them and wrote them in the books. And they designed the gods in their form. And they designed enemies to battle against the Anunnaki. And yes, they were troubled, because they saw that a plan was consulted. And the cosmic form started to design, and that's where you see the skeleton form, raising up in its purest form. And Tiamat warred. And the cosmic essence started to change, and they left the physical form into the skeleton form, into the cosmic form. And Tiamat warred. And Espu opened his mouth and speak. And unto Tiamat, the glistening one, and did she glisten in her cosmic form, beauty and glorious. Tiamat, they're on their way. By day I cannot rest, and by night they knew that the battle would ensue. I will destroy them in their way. And in anguish, that they had to bend their knee because they could not stand up. It was a painful time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for being with me.